The place is here and the time is now. Let's take it round for round. And people gather round. Let's see who can win the crown. All the marbles involved. Football, baseball, or golf. Who's dominating the hoops? Who's talking false or the truth? Yeah, come and show me your war face. I'll show you my war face. No holds barred, so for your sake, you better show up in good shape. Valuable information is key to your domination. So focus on preparation. Online is your reputation. Yeah, it's one-on-one. You and me, ain't no fear in me. You will see. When it comes to this, you'll be wearing the number 23. In debate, I hold my weight, cause these sports I'm attached to it. Your legacy, get ready, cause I'm gonna set a match to it. Hey. Burn 'em. Fire, 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 burn 'em. Fire, 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 burn 'em. Fire, 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 legacy on fire. Fire, 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 burn 'em. Fire, 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 legacy on fire. Fire, 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 burn 'em. Fire, 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 legacy on fire.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are here for episode 63 of Legacy on Fire here on the Legacy Maker Sports Network and, of course, on Bowie Television. Once again, we'd like to thank you all for joining us for our 63rd episode. We're excited. We got a lot of things going on this week. We got baseball started up. We got the NCAA tournament rocking and rolling. The NFL offseason is the NFL offseason. But I'm glad to have two amazing gentlemen with me today. First, my co-host here on Legacy on Fire, Mr. James Brown. James, how you doing today, brother?
Doing good, man. Back with another week, back with another episode. Can't wait to get into it.
Awesome. And, of course, joining us today, first of all, I'm going to go ahead and give him his flowers. Amazing coverage this year for Longwood basketball all the way around. Hampton, Sydney basketball. Almost this close, man. Almost this close. But I got to give a shout out to all the coverage he did down there in the Farmville area. My man, Larry Patterson of the Gametime Sports Network and Legacy Maker contributor. How you doing, Larry? How's everything going today, brother?
What's up, Legacy Makers? What's up to all the sports lovers, haters, addicts, and fanatics out there? Glad to be on Legacy on Fire, episode 63. Let's talk some good sports, man.
Yeah, man. Larry's been on the rampage lately doing his thing. Also seeing him on the Rob Johnson Sports Show, killing it with our guy Rob Johnson. So if you had a chance, go back and check out some of those great episodes as well. We're going to get into it. We got a lot to get into today. And first, we're going to start off with one sentence. One sentence, ladies and gentlemen, the MLB season has begun. Started all the way over there in Korea. I think it was Korea. It started on the other side of the world. Let's put it that way. And we saw Shohei Ohtani and the LA Dodgers head on over there to take on Yu Darvish and the Padres. So that rivalry heading all the way over to the Pacific Ocean to do its thing. So I wanted to talk about it a little bit. So let's get into it. We got the baseball. The rest of the slate starts next week, I believe, on this day, on Thursday of next week. So we got full-blown baseball next week. But I wanted to get the one sentence from the panel on the Major League Baseball season starting. Larry, since you're our guest, I'm going to start with you. What's your one sentence on the MLB season starting up?
My one sentence for the upcoming MLB season is this thing gonna be exciting. Coming from last year, you had two wild card teams make the World Series. Now you had the two games in Korea, and today the Padres defeated the Dodgers in a 26-run game. It was 15-11. So yeah, I'm excited for it. A lot of moves being made in the offseason, from Juan Soto going to the Yankees, getting traded to the Yankees. Josh Hader signing the record deal. Shohei Ohtani coming over to the Dodgers, in a record deal. So man, I'm excited. I think this is gonna be one big season.
Awesome. Now, James, I know how you feel about Major League Baseball. I know it ain't quite your thing, but if you did have one sentence, sir, on the MLB season, what would it be?
My one sentence is going to be, man, Ohtani in October. With Shohei Ohtani going over to the Los Angeles Dodgers, despite them taking the L today against the Padres, I do believe they'll be the favorites to represent from the National League. And, I want to see it pay off. The Dodgers always opening up the pocketbook, spending all the money to get all the best players. Let's see if it can actually win them a ring this year. And so that's my one sentence, man. Ohtani in October.
All right. So my one sentence for this one is World Series or bust for the Dodgers. It's World Series or bust for the Dodgers. Look, here's the deal. You're the Dodgers. You done spent buku money. You got Freddie Freeman. You got Ohtani. I mean, there's so much talent on this team. It definitely, for the years past, we talked about the Yankees being, they go in the pockets, they do whatever they need, they get the money, they spend the money. Those days are over for the Yankees. The Dodgers are their team now, and so you have to win a championship here. Now, we did see them win the World Series back in 2020 in the COVID year. So sometimes the COVID year doesn't get as much love. Ask Lakers fans that. So they don't get as much love. To win one in the post-COVID time would be very critical for this organization. So that's my one sentence on it. But I also have a second sentence, which I would say, Mariners, please make the World Series so we can finally be the last. Not be the last team to make the World Series, or just make the World Series. We're the last team. Let's get in there. Larry.
Hey, the Dodgers also added Tyler Glass now too, and they got a chance to break that 2001 Mariners. Was it 116 games?
Yeah.
See how that goes.
I mean, look, with this team, they should, right? They absolutely should. There's no reason why they can't win 130, and everybody be like, all right, that makes sense. It just makes sense. But look, my boys ain't held on it to that long. They won that season, and then they took 20 years to make the playoffs again. So that's just the way it is. All right, that is it for one sentence. Now we're gonna head over to the fire starter. Right, so our fire starter today has to deal with wrong one. We got to deal with the NFL offseason. So the NFL offseason, we talked a little bit about it last week. We're just going to update a little bit on some of the things that went on and just kind of go over some things that we saw over the last week. Now, one of the bigger things that obviously happened since the last time that we've been on this show was Justin Fields becoming a Pittsburgh Steeler, which I don't think nobody saw. I was in the middle of a broadcast doing semi-pro football this week when it came across, and I was like, well. So, James, I'm going to start with you first on this. Any updates on the NFL that just kind of baffled you over the last week? And I definitely want to hear about Justin Fields and his new home in Pittsburgh with Russell Wilson and the crew.
So yeah, definitely starting with Fields, man. I think for him, he's just feeling a sense of relief at this point. The media cycle, the news is off of him to a degree, where he's finally been moved. He's no longer going to be in Chicago, pretty much submitting that the Bears are going to take a quarterback with their first pick in the draft. And he gets a fresh start in Pittsburgh, presumably being the backup to a Russell Wilson. Now, the thing I like about this for Justin is we've seen the last couple seasons, Russell hasn't been the Russell of old that we thought was going to be a Hall of Famer from his days in Seattle. He hasn't been that guy the last couple seasons. So Justin actually has a good chance here to potentially see the field and actually start and win some games for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Going to Pittsburgh, he's going to have George Pickens. He's going to have Pat Freiermuth. They got Najee Harris in the backfield along with Jaylen Warren. So he's going to have weapons around him as well, to somewhat complement what he may have had in Chicago, maybe even a little bit better in Pittsburgh. And then arguably he's going to have the best defense of his career. So if he does get to Pittsburgh and, Russ, for whatever reason, isn't able to hold him off, this could be the chance that Fields needs to turn his career around.
Let's see, that's where it gets interesting. Can he turn that bad boy around? Larry, we head to you. Your thoughts on Justin Fields heading to Pittsburgh to hang with Russell Wilson and maybe learn a little bit from the potential Hall of Famer down the road?
There we go.
I'm with James. I think this is a career turnaround for him. Me watching Russell Wilson for the past 2 years, I think Justin Fields will be starting by week 10. To be honest, he has like James said, he has the George Pickens, he has the Pat Freiermuth and the running backs. I still think Pittsburgh needs another couple receivers, to complement him on the perimeter. The defense out there is going to be lights out. So I feel like this is going to be a real good situation for him. He's still got years left. He's only 25 years old. So And going into the NFC North, man, that division is loaded. So
awesome. Now we saw a couple of receivers get signed to some big money that maybe you say, well, wait a minute, how y'all getting this much money? One of those receivers, you know very well, Larry, and Jerry Jeudy, who got a little bit of a bag from the Cleveland Browns. What is Cleveland doing? Because, and I want to hear this from both of you guys, because Cleveland's been out here just saying, hey, look, man, they've been spending some money this offseason. Larry, what are your thoughts on Judy? I always say his name. Jerry, we'll just call him Jerry. Jerry signing that big deal, man. I mean, that's what, 3 years or up $58 million, a $41 million guaranteed signing bonus. Well,
my thing is, have they seen Jerry Jeudy since he's been in Denver? Like, he hadn't even had a 1,000-yard season. So it's like they just kind of just throwing money. They threw money at Deshaun Watson, and now you throw money at a receiver that didn't really have the. In fairness of him, he didn't really have the best quarterback play, but either he was missing passes or missing games. So, but hey, man, get the bag. That's all I gotta say. But
got to get the bag, James. Now, I know that the Browns are kind of near and dear to your heart, with Pops being a big Browns fan. How's Pops feeling, first of all, and secondly, like what's going on here?
I haven't asked him yet about the Jerry Jeudy move, but as for me, I know we already wrapped up one sentence, but man, I gotta go with it. Cocaine's a hell of a drug, because the fact that you traded these assets. Well, you traded a 5th and a 6th to get Jerry Jeudy out of Denver. He still had this season left on his contract. We've seen that, he hasn't produced. He hasn't flourished in Denver. And now you turn around and you give him a 3-year deal with $41 million guaranteed after not even knowing how he's going to perform in your system. It's ludicrous. But, like Larry said, they did the same thing with Watson, where he had the extended period of time he was out of the league, and they threw a fully guaranteed deal at him when it's like you had no idea how he was going to perform or play in your system. You should have just picked up the contract he had, roll with it, see if he could perform, and then reward him with a new deal. But, it's definitely a little bit backwards from my perspective. You bringing him into a system where you already had an Amari Cooper, you had an Elijah Moore, you still got David Njoku. So is it going to be enough passes going around for him to even produce in Cleveland? That's a whole nother thing. So it's definitely a little backwards. And honestly, I feel like this is a good reason why NFL front offices and owners should also be subject to drug testing. I mean, because Cleveland's done it twice. I mean, they did it with Watson, and then they've done it again with Jeudy. So it's like, clearly somebody's using something in the organization. And if the players got to be tested, let's test the front office too, because clearly Cleveland's shown that we probably need some testing.
Well, look, let's hope maybe they prove us wrong. It ain't been looking that way so far, with the whole situation. I mean, it was a very intriguing move, but I don't know what Cleveland is doing, and I'm still mad that they got rid of their running back coach at the end of the season last year, because for him to do what he was able to do for that team with Chubb going down and, Ford having to step up, and those running backs came to play. They still had one of the best rushing attacks in the league with no Chubb, and I'm just like, this is the guy you let go. All right, cool. That's the part that I didn't understand. Now, another receiver that got signed was Mike Williams, a 1-year, $15 million deal heading to the Jets. Now, I don't know about that much money for a guy who also stays hurt. James, what are your thoughts on Mike Williams heading to the Jets to hang with Aaron Rodgers, the future vice president of the United States?
Well, if he's hanging with the future VP and Aaron Rodgers, he must be Secret Service, or he's just going to be a handicapped person in the wheelchair section. Because, again, he's another player. He can never really stay healthy, man. And to sign him for $15 million for this season after he's shown, like, I think he's coming off, an ACL injury or a knee injury again in LA. Like, I can't even remember the last time he's played a full 16, 17 game season. And it's like, again, he's just been signed to another large sum of money. It's like the Chargers cut him for a reason. He was made available for a reason. You saw nobody wanted to trade for him, so they actually cut him. and for you to just pick him up off the street like, oh, you're doing something, that's a classic Jet move, man. I ain't gonna lie to you.
It's crazy. It's
Taking
crazy.
stuff
Larry,
off the scrap heap and, trying to buff it back out.
trying to make something out of it. Larry, what about you, man? What do you think about Mike Williams heading to the Jets?
Man, those Jets keep jetting, huh? Like James said, man, he just had the ACL injury. Isn't it multiple ACL injuries that he's had in his career?
Yeah. I think he's tore it up a couple times.
And then you give him $15 million? Like, come on. You got all these receivers coming out in this year's draft. I mean, I understand the move because if he can stay healthy, I feel like it's a pretty damn good move. But what if he doesn't?
Right. What if he doesn't? What if he doesn't?
I mean, more than likely, history says that he won't, especially when you have other receivers out there. Like, for instance, I think Hunter Renfrow is still available. At least he's healthy and available to play games. If you're Aaron Rodgers, you had Randall Cobb back in your glory days in Green Bay. Why not see if you can take Hunter Renfrow and see if he can fit that Cobb type role? Why would you blow all your money that you have limited of on a wide receiver who barely gets to play?
And that's the part. I mean, I don't know what these NFL teams, like you said, the drug test should be coming. Now I know we got a minute left, but we're gonna go a little bit into some bonus time here. I do have one more question on this topic for you both. And after last week, we had our opinions on who we thought was having the best off season so far. James, I'm gonna. James, I ask you first. Do you still feel the team that you picked last week, or is there somebody else that kind of showed up in the second week that you say, okay, maybe they're having the best offseason right now?
Well, I think last week we went with Washington. I still like what Washington's done, man. Right. I still like what they've done. I still like the moves they've made. They've set themselves up to see like if they could possibly go all in once they have. I'm predicting they take a quarterback in the draft, and I feel like the way the roster's set up, the way it's constructed, they have a few veteran guys that can come in and help teach the younger guys. I feel like having Bobby Wagner there will definitely help to see if Jamin Davis can really play, a former first rounder they had from a couple seasons ago. Bringing in Bobby Wagner to play alongside Jamin Davis potentially, that should unlock his potential if he has it, just to see, what he can bring to the table to possibly take over once Wagner leaves. I still like what Washington's done. Yes, they need to solve that quarterback piece. And if they do, man, this might be the best Skins team, or this might be the best Washington team that we've seen since the early 2000s.
Yeah, could be. Now we're gonna add 2 minutes on real quick for Larry, because Larry, I need to know yours, man. I need to know because we didn't get a chance to hear yours last week. Well, which team for you right now is having a phenomenal offseason?
Man, you see what those Houston Texans are doing? Especially on the defensive side of the ball. I know they signed a few of their offensive guys back, like Dalton Schultz. But on the defensive side of the ball, the Miko Ryans and that front office staff is really making it known that they want to compete in 2024, adding Danielle Hunter, who had a career high 16.5 sacks. You bring in Danico Autry, a couple other moves that they made. Houston, I feel like will be. I'm going to say I think they're in that contending conversation right now. They already went to the divisional round last year. Granted, the fact what happened in Baltimore, but C.J. Stroud showed you what he can be last year. Then you add Joe Mixon, a bell cow. Like, Houston Texans they're probably going to be my team to go to my Super Bowl pick right now in the preseason Super Bowl.
I like that.
And not to mention they got a chance to play. They got a chance to play Kansas City on opening night. Look out for that.
Oh man, wouldn't that be something? But look, we saw a team propel themselves this season after opening night win over the eventual champions in the Detroit Lions. Could we see that with the Texans? Larry said there's a strong chance we might get to see that if that does go down. Now, last week, Larry, it's funny. I picked the Texans last week.
Yeah.
And what I'm about to say now is going to hurt my heart to the fullest. But a team that has semi-impressed me, oh God, forgive me, Lord, the Chicago Bears. When I saw them go and trade for Keenan Allen, and I know we don't know if Keenan's going to be able to stay healthy in that cold, but I thought to myself, wow, they've really kind of set themselves up a little bit. They trade Justin, they bring in more picks. Which I still personally think they should have kept Justin. But if you're going to go after Caleb, and Caleb's your guy of the future, you're giving him some studs at receiver to start this thing. I mean, with potentially with the NAF pick, if they decide they want to go receiver there, which they should go O-line. I'm just going to throw that out there. They should go O-line, but if they decide to go receiver there, one of those top receivers in the draft more likely will be there. So you could have a three-headed monster receiver with Cole Clement. And I said to myself, wow, they've really done a good job. You bring in DeAndre Swift, who had a really good season. It did kind of tear off a little bit when the Eagles started struggling, but when he was cooking early. I'm like, man, they've really done a good job. They bring in my cousin, Jonathan Owens, who had an all right season last year with the Packers. That one kind of hurt my feelings because I would love to see him and Simone Biles back on the Packers sidelines, but it is what it is. So for me, I hurt my heart. When I saw it, I said, that's how I felt going into it. But hey, look, man, it is what it is. And so I'm going to give the Bears some credit this week.
If they don't screw that number one pickup,
man, you know how they do though, man.
The Bears is the Bears,
The Bears are the Bears. If they don't screw this pickup, and Caleb Williams is that guy, like you said, you got Keenan, you got DJ, you added Gerald Everett, and you have the DeAndre Swifts. Khalil Herbert is a power back himself, and then you got Rashawn Johnson, who still got another year to prove. And you got, I feel like Tyler Scott is a name that don't get talked about often. He didn't have a lot of production last year, but as a deep threat, I think he can be something, especially when you got a quarterback who can distribute the ball like Caleb Williams. And their defense was, they were number one in like the last final 8 games when they bought Montez Sweat over. So I feel like you bring another pass rusher over there, their defense is going to be lights out.
They've got to take Ryan Poles has had a really good offseason. Like I said, I'm not gonna say I shouldn't say they had the best offseason so far, but they've had a very impressive second week since the last time we were on the air, because I think the Keenan Allen trade happened the day after we had our show last week. I was like, Chicago. It is what it is. All right, that's it for the 5 starters. Now we head over to the main flame. All right, so main flame, it's tournament time, y'all. The NCAA tournament it's already started. It's technically going on as we speak. We've already had a couple of upsets. Go Duquesne. Watch out, A10 in the building. We've already had a couple of upsets so far. Cavaliers trash. But with all that being said, we're going to go and give you our Final Four predictions for the men and the women. And so, Larry, I'm going to start with you first, man. Give us your Final Four predictions for the men and the women.
My Final Four prediction for the men is kind of simple. I got UConn, North Carolina, I got Purdue, and I got the Dukes of James Madison University.
Oh, the Dukes, not Carolina. I mean, not North Carolina.
I got James Madison University heading to the Final Four. Will it happen? I don't know. We'll see. As far as the women, I got South Carolina, I got Texas, LSU, and Juju Watkins representing USC. And I have North Carolina winning the title, and I have South Carolina winning the title.
So you got a Carolina
collection.
Carolina.
So now, Larry, do you have any wild card teams that you said, man, they could kind of sneak up and surprise a lot of people in the tournament, other than JMU, obviously? But is there anybody else that you kind of say on both sides, you like, man, you got to watch out for them?
I had McNeese State, but I didn't go through with it. So, but one team that I am hoping for is my hometown.
There it is, right
Lancers.
there. Go Lancers.
16 seed. We play Houston tomorrow night at 9. So
shock the world. Shock the world, baby. Hey, James, we're gonna head to you, man. What's your Final Four on both sides?
So on the men's side, I actually have in my Final Four UConn, Arizona, Houston, and Gonzaga. So I'm putting down Larry's Lancers early, but if somehow they do manage to shock the world, there goes my bracket on the men's division side. But I think those 4 teams will be the ones that advance and make it. I think I did have JMU getting a little frisky. making some noise in the tournament on the men's side. I think another team that I picked for Creighton to have a little bit of a stretch run as well. Dougie McBuckets, his dad just got an extension there. And somehow Creighton's always in it year in after year out, despite us never knowing who's on their team. So, I think they just got a solid program. And, I think they can make a little bit of noise this year. Flipping it over to the women's side, let's see, my final four from my bracket. Who did I take? I took a couple 1 seeds in South Carolina and Texas meeting up. And then on the opposite side, I did take USC and LSU. Now, for my final, I had a rematch of a very interesting game that we saw play out in the SEC championship with South Carolina taking on LSU. We saw the chippiness that went on in that game, and then the benches being cleared, and them finishing the game with no bench left. So I feel like that's going to be a great storyline going into the tournament. And I do see them prevailing and getting all the way through. And as far as winners, I have Don Staley and the Gamecocks picking up another win in the tournament over LSU. And then I had Houston winner on the men's side brackets. Now, I know for a lot of the fan base, they may be wondering, well, what about Caitlin? Where's Caitlin Clark? I actually had Caitlin Clark losing to the LSU Tigers in the Elite Eight. We get to see a little bit of that rematch between Caitlin and Angel Reese from last year. When Angel had to let her know, like put a ring on it because it's mine. I hope we do get to see that matchup again. It was great. The story that went into it, the build up, the game itself, a lot of great competition that we saw out of them last year in the tournament. Hopefully we get a repeat of it this year, but I got Don Staley and the Lady Gamecocks taking it, man.
All right. So here's the thing. Like, I think in my women's, I had that matchup, and that was probably the hardest matchup for me to choose, because it's like you get to it, you're like, man, I need that to be in the Final Four. That's a little bit different. But when there was an Elite Eight, I was like, I got to really choose here. So I really do think that the NCAA committee did Iowa injustice in that bracket, because they got some heavy hitters in that bracket with UCLA also being in there. I'm like, why did they do it? Why did they not like Iowa? Like, I mean,
who did they upset?
Who did they upset for them to like put them through this gauntlet? So it is what it is. Now, for me, on the women's side, I went with South Carolina. Moving on, I got them beating Notre Dame to head to the Final Four. I got Stanford. I got Stanford beating Texas and finding a way through on that one. So I think they're going to find a way to pull it out. I got Iowa beating I can't believe I got Iowa beating LSU, and I got them moving on. And then I got USC heading to the Final Four. So that's going to set up Juju versus Caitlin, the present versus the future. And I just think we're going to get the same scenario that we got last year, where we have a semifinal matchup that's just going to be just the anticipation is going to be like here. Like, everybody's going to be watching. Everybody's going to be tuning in to see who does it between the future and the present right now. And the potential, who knows, 4 years from 4 or 5 years down the road, the person that takes over as the all-time lead scorer, who knows? That's maybe too early. And then, like I said, with South Carolina going up against Stanford, I got South Carolina. I mean, like, what Don Staley don't play games. Don Staley don't play games around here. So, look, watch out for that. And then I got Iowa beating USC. And it'll be Iowa versus South Carolina. And I got Don Staley, my favorite women's player of all time, getting the dub in the national championship game. And unfortunately, Caitlin goes ringless in her time. But, she'll probably get one in the WNBA. In the men's side, I got UConn winning their bracket. I got North Carolina winning their bracket, which I got a bad feeling that they might get upset somewhere, but I picked them this time. Houston. But even though I'm still like, go Lancers, we in there, go Longwood, make it happen. Make me wrong. I'm okay with it. And then I had Kansas sneaking through in that other bracket. So I have UConn taking on Houston in the national championship. UConn repeats as national champions. Dan Hurley, the former Rhode Island coach, will do it again and get number 2. So that is my that's my Final Fours. Now, James, I did ask Larry, but I didn't get a chance to ask you, which teams do you see on both sides that could kind of sneak through and make some noise, kind of surprise a couple people?
So on the men's side, again, I think Creighton might make a little noise. Picking a home state team, I do like, James Madison to go in there, have a couple upsets. I don't think they'll go as far as Larry had them in the Final Four, but I think they can definitely get a game or two off some people because a lot of people are probably going to look at them as the underdog. They're not going to be expecting it, they're not going to see it coming, and I feel like James Madison got a little something for him. Then on the women's side, let's see, who did I have? Oh, South Dakota State, the Lady Jackrabbits, man. I don't know. I get a feeling about it.
I don't know.
I think they were pretty competitive in the regular season as well on the women's side. And so South Dakota State, the Jackrabbits, man, I think they could make a little bit of noise this year, make a little bit of a stretch run on the women's side of it. But Dawn and the girls gonna shut that down if it comes to it.
It's gonna be
They tend to take care of business, man. They tend to take care of business.
So I'll give mine real quick before we head to put out the fire. On the men's side, I don't know, and it's just a vibe. I can't tell you why. It could be the colors. I don't know. But I think Baylor might make a run. I don't know why I feel that way, but I was looking at the bracket and I was like, something about Baylor just screams run. And I don't know what it is. They could lose tonight, and then next week you'd be like, see, Darrell, you jinxed them. Or they lose when they play tomorrow. So they could lose tomorrow. You'd be like, Darrell, that's all your fault. And I'll take full responsibility for that. On the women's side, I think Colorado is a team to watch out for. They had some early success in the beginning of the season. They knocked off LSU, and they played really good basketball throughout this season. And I'm not going to say they're going to win it all, but I think that they could go in and definitely make some noise. And Richmond Spiders, I don't care what happens. If the Richmond Spiders can get just that one victory over Duke, I will be happy for that. It make me happy seeing Coach Russell and his squad get a W and get his first NCAA tournament win. I think that would be just phenomenal. And that's the homer pick on that one. So let's hope for the best for the Richmond Spiders. All right, that is it for the main flame. It is time, ladies and gentlemen, to finish this thing up and put out the fire.
Fire, fire, burn on. Fire, 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 burn on. Fire, 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 legacy on fire.
All right, so we're gonna finish this bad boy up and put out the fire. We're gonna let the guests go first. Larry, anything that you got to get off your chest, man, here on the Put Out the Fire segment?
Other than tomorrow night, it's very big. It's very big for the team. I'm not looking for us to win, but you people got to understand, like, in this tournament, anything can happen. James, Darrell, you've been watching sports forever. Anything can happen in this tournament. Do I think they're going to win? I don't think so. But everybody's got a chance when that clock is hits 20 minutes. So I talked to Coach Griff the other day, and just so happened that UMBC team that beat UVA in 2017-18, he was an assistant coach there.
He know the formula. He knows
the formula. So let's go Wood. Waylon Napper has been playing efficient ball, almost had a 10-point triple-double in the Big South Championship game. Sheeman Shapala, 17 points in the last two games. When he plays 20-plus minutes, he productive on the defensive side of the ball, rebounding. Michael Christmas has been shooting pretty good from three. Let's go Wood, man. Let's get it done.
That's right. Watch out. Hey, look, we all about UVA, and even let me take that back. We're all about Virginia as a state, as a whole. Here on the Legacy Maker Sports Network. UVA, I'm gonna talk about y'all in just a couple seconds. Just give me time. James, I'm gonna let you go here. It's time for you to put out the fire, sir.
Yeah, man, that was wild for a second, saying we're all about UVA. I mean,
I know. I'm sorry, man. I ain't mean to do that to you.
I don't know too much about that. I don't know too much about that other than beating the heck out of them. But
come on, bro.
Let's see what I want to. Has anything really upset me this week in the world of sports? This one isn't upsetting. Well, a little bit it is. Well, we saw a great player this past week go ahead and hang him up in Aaron Donald, and I just wanted to say, man, he had a hell of a career. One of the best defensive players I've actually seen play from start to finish. 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, 9 to 10 Pro Bowl selections, All Pro selections. He's got a Super Bowl ring. He was a dominant force in the middle of that Rams defense. Even this past year, when, to start the year off, we were like, man, the Rams really don't have much this year on the defensive side. And somehow he rallied the troops between the coaching, Aaron Donald, his presence, and those guys around him, man. And the Rams actually played some good defensive football this year. So, I just want to give a shout out to Aaron Donald. I don't know if he does watch the show. If he does, it's pretty cool. But, just a great defensive player, a great leader. And, glad to see him go out on his terms.
Yeah, shout out to Aaron Donald, man. The
AD
was absolutely nastiness. And it's just hard to find players like that in the game. They just transcend the game. And he is this generation's Reggie White, per se. You know what I'm saying? And he's done so much for the game. Our generation, when we were growing up, Reggie White was that guy that just was so dominant on the defensive line. He's like, it's crazy how good he is. And that's the vibe that I've always gotten from Aaron Donald. And in his own way, he's a Hall of Famer, first ballot, easy. Congratulations, Aaron Donald, man, for all of your greatness, man. And we got a chance to watch it. So it was definitely an honor.
It's sad to see him go, but I feel like Kobe Turner is they leaving that defense in good hands with Kobe Turner. He had a lights out rookie year. So
he did. Former Spider, was with Wake Forest, right? Went to Wake Forest after he left Richmond.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, got a chance to see him play when he was here in Richmond. He was a stud when he was at Forest, and now he's doing his thing with the Rams. Now, my turn. Oh, Larry, I might need you to join me on this one. As much as I know, let me go ahead and put my logo up here too. Hold on, wait a minute. As much as I love UVA, you heard me even mistakenly say it a few seconds ago with James. As much as I love UVA basketball, and I always will, and I always will be a supporter. I'll always cover that team. I'm always going to be there, no matter what. But we have a problem. I sent Larry something right before the show. It was a graphic. Since the 2019 National Championship, these suckers have not won a tournament game. 2020 was the COVID year. 2021, they lost in the first round. 2022, they didn't make the tournament. Last year, they lost to Ohio one year, lost to Furman the other year. This is the first year I've ever felt like they didn't deserve to be in the tournament whatsoever. 23 wins or not. Third in the ACC, I said to myself, nope, because just the way it has looked this season offensively has been tragic. So for me, I'm like, look, Tony Bennett, I don't know. I love you, okay, as a fan, as a fan of the team, I love you. But brother, things have to change. And I'm not like Larry's ready for you to go. Larry's ready for you to go. I'm gonna give you another opportunity, but things have to change. Things got to change. They need somebody offensively to come in and be that stud. The defense is locked in. Larry sent me something. Larry, I'm gonna let you tell him the stats, Larry, on the defensive front for this team in the last 5, 10, 6 years or whatever.
The last 6 years, including the championship year, they were top 10. Borderline? I know it's some sixes in there, but top 5 basically defense since 2019, and it might have been year, but I just counted from 2019. Top 10 in defense. You know what they were in offense? You got some 300s, you got some 200s, and you got a 100 here and there. 300. It's 300 plus teams in the country, and you were one of those teams as far as offense. It's ridiculous. I told you last year, Darrell, in a post. I told
300
you 300
is insane.
I told you last year that Tony Bennett had to go after you. They were the 4th seed, right? And they lost to Furman last year. I said that he had to go, and you said they loved him up there, and give him another chance. Okay, now you didn't even deserve to be in the tournament. What was, I think he was 5 for 2. UVA as a team was 5 for 29, I believe, at halftime, or somewhere like in the second half. That is ridiculous.
Sad.
No scores, just straight defense.
Straight defense.
And that's great, but you need somebody to score the ball.
I can't say it anymore. Like Larry, you said everything I wanted to say inside, and it's just at this point, like something's got to change. And Larry's ready for him to go. I'm not gonna do Tony like that just yet, but Tony, you gotta fix this, brother. And I know that you are a great head coach, and I know you know how to fix it. You can't keep doing this and thinking, okay, I got the national championship, we're gonna be all right. And I know the donors up there may be happy that what's going on, but no, you can't keep losing in the first round like this. This is ugly, and you're not losing. You're losing ugly. You're losing ugly. You know, you're losing to 13 seeds and 12 seeds, and then, you lose to a 16 seed. Look, that stuff, man, that don't look good. They don't look good.
You lost by 20 points to the 16 seed.
20 points to the 16 seed.
Come
That's all I'm saying.
Man.
Something's got to change in Charlottesville.
No adjustments.
No adjustments. It's insane. And I'm not going to lie to you. And this is the last thing I'm going to say, and I'll move on because, I don't want them to revoke my press pass because I do love this team. Look, I do love this team. But this might be the first year that I've seen it. Like in other years past, I've seen coaching. He just seems so fired up on the sideline. This year, he's seemed a little bit more relaxed. And I don't know if and it could be something, I don't know, whatever it is. But I don't know what it is, Coach. We love you. Figure it out because this can't keep going on. That loss to Tech. What? We're losing to Tech in basketball, football. I understand. Football, I understand. Basketball, that's a no-go. No, not at all.
What game was that where they were just flat out awful from the free throw line? Was that against Wake Forest or Georgia Tech?
I want to say it was against Wake.
Like they couldn't hit nothing.
Nothing. Can't make free throws.
And the final score was like maybe 49, 48 or something like that.
Yeah.
Like what in the world, bro?
And then when you're losing games like that, it's just it's tough. But the stat that and I posted it, the 13 minutes and 53 seconds worth of no scoring was enough for me. I said I cannot believe when I saw it, I thought it was a joke. But I was watching it and I still heard it and I just thought it was a joke. That's how bad it was. But that's it. I don't want to talk no more about this team. I love them, but I can be mad at them at the same time. All right, everybody. That is it for Legacy on Fire this week. I want to thank Larry for joining us this week, man. Larry, really appreciate you, man. Let everybody know where they can find you and all the greatness you got going on, brother.
You can find me on Facebook at Gametime Sports Network. If you look on my reels and videos, you can see on a little graphic of everywhere you can find me at. Shout out to Prince Edward Baseball, 2-0. They play Appomattox on Monday. They got a game against Lunenburg on Thursday, so we'll be able to check them boys out. And shout out to Ham Sydney too, man. First Final Four appearance since 2003. Couldn't get it done, but yeah, maybe next year.
Man, it's great. My boy, I believe my boy Jason Holman was on that team back then. I was a senior. He was a senior because he was he went to Amelia. His senior year, I was a freshman, and that year he was a senior. So he was a part of that great team with my pastor of my church. Jay Patrick was all a part of that Hampton Sydney team that made that run. So shout out to them. I just wanted to show them some love. James, anything you want to say before we get out of here, brother?
Hey man, always great to be back on. Always great to chop it up with you boys. Appreciate everybody tuning in and watching. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Check out all the great stuff we got here at the Legacy Maker Sports Network.
All right. Now, before we go, make sure y'all check out all our great shows. Rob Johnson's Sports Show. Rob got like 4 shows, but I'm telling you,
shout out to Rob, man.
You will be entertained.
My man works hard.
Hey, my man works hard. You will be entertained. So go check out all of the great content that my man Rob Johnson throws up on here. Becca Cottingham Quimby's been killing it on Monster Minutes. The Richmond race is in a couple of weeks where they'll be live there doing some good stuff. So make sure you check out Monster Minutes. It's on. We finally got that on YouTube now. So make sure you check it out. It's gonna be on LinkedIn, all that good stuff. So check that out. So like I said, all our shows, all the people on the network. Shout out to Joe Dillard. Amazing job at ACC the last 2 weeks with the women and the men. Shout out to Arturo Jones as well. The man Darius that helped out for the ACC. Want to give all the love there. Want to give a shout out to my A10 team, Justice, Rob, Russ, Lamont. We killed it last week. Had a really good time doing that. So and everybody, all the contributors that have been a part of this network over the last 7 years. I know they say, hey, you do this every show. That's how much I care about my squad, man. That's all I got to say. All right, everybody. That is it here for a Legacy on Fire. We will see you all next week for another episode of Legacy on Fire. That's right. Go Wood. My man Larry, man. Y'all make sure y'all check out Gametime Sports Network, man. Larry is out here doing his thing. And we appreciate you, Larry, for joining us once again, brother.
Appreciate you too, bro.
All right. We'll have him back on soon. It's been Darrell Owens, James Brown, Larry Patterson. We out.